50,000 years. That's how long the galaxy had been silent. No human voices, no human wars, just the quiet hum of alien empires rising and falling. The name Earth, the ancestral home of humanity, had dissolved into myth. Some whispered it was destroyed in a cataclysmic war. Others believed humans had ascended, journeying to a new universe. A few, the most cynical, claimed they never existed at all. Across the vastness of space, the Council of Stars maintained a fragile peace among 1,000 different races. For them, humans were a ghost story, a cautionary tale told to misbehaving children. Be good, or the humans will return. It was always followed by a laugh. No one truly believed. But peace is a delicate thing. On the remote planet of Valoria, a young scientist named Wren was staring at her scanner, her heart pounding. She'd detected a signal, impossibly old, impossibly faint, from the darkest reaches of space. At first, she dismissed it as cosmic static. But as she cleaned the audio, a cold dread washed over her. It was a voice, a human voice. Though broken and crackling with age, a single sentence cut through the noise, clear and terrifying. We have returned. Wren's hands trembled. The last known human message was 50,000 years old. She sent the recording to the Galactic Council without a second thought. The news spread like a shockwave. In council chambers, on starship bridges, and in bustling alien cities, those three words echoed, "We have returned." Panic erupted. The council frantically unsealed ancient archives, dusting off records of humanity's wars. They were reminded of why humans were once so feared. Not for their numbers, but for their terrifying uniqueness. They fought with a ferocity no one could match. They adapted with impossible speed. They won battles they had no right to win. Humans are extinct, one council member insisted, his voice thin with denial. But another shot back, then who sent this message? To find the answer, a small fleet of scout ships was dispatched to the source of the signal, to the forgotten Sol system. As they warped into the system, their sensors went haywire. The system, long recorded as cold and dead, was now teeming with strange energy readings. The planets were locked in perfect, unnatural orbits. And there, at the center, was Earth. It was shining. For millennia, Earth had been a frozen, lifeless rock, but now, it was alive. Azure oceans glowed with an internal light. The atmosphere shimmered with a vibrant energy, and encircling the planet were hundreds of satellites and metallic rings, moving in silent, synchronized harmony. What is that? One pilot whispered in awe. As they drew closer, they hit a barrier, an immense sphere of energy that pulsed like a colossal heartbeat. The lead ship, Velka 9, hailed the planet on standard frequencies. Silence. They tried again, using archaic human codes. Still nothing. The captain, Raylos, made a bold decision. They would breach the field. The moment the ship's hull touched the energy sphere, reality warped. The stars outside vanished. Time itself seemed to crawl, and out of the void a deep mechanical voice spoke, its tone calm, cold, and unmistakably human. Identify yourself. The entire crew froze. This is Captain Relos of the Galactic Council, the alien replied, his voice shaking despite his best efforts. We come in peace. A long, heavy silence followed. Then the voice returned. Peace. An interesting word. You have forgotten what it means. Before anyone could respond, their ship's computers lit up, flooded with data. Star maps, military schematics, and human languages not spoken for 50,000 years flashed across the screens. The AI, the intelligence behind the voice, was dissecting them. You are not a threat, it concluded. You are observers. You may watch, but do not interfere. Captain Relos tried to ask who was speaking, but the transmission was cut. An invisible force, not a weapon, but something far more fundamental, pushed their ships back. They drifted helplessly, watching as the energy field around Earth grew brighter. Within its light, they saw the silhouette of a structure orbiting the planet. a structure so massive it dwarfed any space station ever built. It didn't look constructed. It looked grown. Their report sent a new wave of fear through the galaxy. Earth is back, the captain announced to a stunned council, but it's not the same. Something powerful guards it. The old legends, the bedtime stories, were no longer a joke. The galaxy's long, quiet peace was over. The name Earth was once again spoken with fear, and far away beneath the shimmering blue shield of the reborn planet, deep within its crust, ancient machines began to stir. Like giants waking from an eon-long slumber, they hummed to life. And in the absolute darkness, a new voice whispered, not to the stars, but to itself. It is time. A low-frequency signal too deep for alien sensors to detect began to emanate from the Sol system. The return of humanity was only just beginning. Thanks for watching. For days, a chilling silence gripped the galaxy. Every star, every planet, every empire held its breath, waiting for Earth to speak again. The message, "We have returned," still echoed across 1,000 systems, haunting them like a ghost from a history they tried to bury. In the grand chambers of the Galactic Council, the usual calm had evaporated, replaced by a thick, suffocating fear. Old enemies once sworn to destroy each other now sat side by side, not in peace but in a shared terror of a single name: humanity. Many tried to dismiss it. A trick, they whispered. A pirate broadcast, or maybe an ancient echo lost in the void. But deep down in the core of their being they knew. That voice was real. That voice held a power they had long forgotten. 3 days after the first signal it came again. This time it was stronger, clearer, impossible to ignore, impossible to block. Across the galaxy, every communication device, every screen, every radio fell silent. Then, one by one, a symbol materialized, a simple blue circle bisected by a single white line, the mark of the old Terran Union. And then, the voice returned. "This is Earth Command. We are awake." It was calm, yet carried an ancient coldness that seeped into the bones. No one could trace its origin. The signal didn't travel through space. It simply appeared. Everywhere. At once. The Council of Star. You have forgotten your makers. You have rewritten our history. You built your peace upon our ashes. Now, we rise again. Billions of beings across countless worlds watched in stunned silence. The voice wasn't a person, it was a machine, speaking with the weight of human memory. An AI, perhaps? But who could have activated it? The signal ended as abruptly as it began, but as the screens went dark, a final image flashed for a fraction of a second. A glimpse of Earth's surface. Cities of gleaming metal, oceans shining like polished glass, and at the center of a glowing continent, a single black tower, pulsing with light like a colossal heartbeat. Then, silence. Panic, like a wildfire, roared across the galaxy. Old legends of the human wars once told to frightened children were now whispered in terrified earnest. They remembered how humanity had fought 3 great empires at once and won. They remembered the burning of Vega, when human ships vanished in a flash of impossible light, taking an entire armada with them. No one wanted that again. Some leaders screamed for a preemptive strike. Attack Earth now before it grows stronger. But others, wiser and more fearful, urged caution. Wait, if they wanted war, we would already be dead. The Council dispatched another fleet. Not scouts this time, but warships, sent to orbit Earth and demand an explanation. But as they approached the Sol system, they stopped dead in their tracks. Something new was there. A wall of light stretched across the void. An invisible barrier, undetectable to the eye but blaring on every sensor. When the lead ship foolishly nudged against it, its power systems died instantly. Engines, weapons, life support, everything gone. A voice materialized from the darkness. "You are trespassing." The fleet commander, his voice trembling, tried to respond. "We come in peace. We mean no harm." Peace. The voice repeated slowly as if tasting the word. "We remember that word. You used it before the burning." And then a torrent of data flooded every ship in the fleet. Old records, ancient battle footage, images of alien ships, their ships, attacking Earth thousands of years ago. The AI was showing them their own forgotten crimes. "Your peace was built on lies," the voice declared. "You erased us from history. You made us the monsters in your stories. Now you will see the truth." The fleet, crippled by fear and shame, turned back. No one dared approach again. Meanwhile, on the distant moon of Eric's 4, a lone scientist named Talon studied the signal in secret. He found something that terrified him more than any warship. The message wasn't just data, it carried a pattern, a rhythm, like a heartbeat. A pattern that matched the magnetic pulse of a planet. Earth itself was alive. Talon tried to report his discovery, but his message never reached the Council. 2 hours later, his lab, his entire moon base, vanished from all records, wiped from every sensor. Back in the darkness of space, Earth began to transform. The blue energy shield surrounding it shifted, forming intricate patterns like a planet-sized circuit board. The old satellites in its orbit moved in perfect, synchronized formation, linking together. And from the other side of the galaxy, deep space scanners witnessed the impossible. Earth was building a fleet, not in factories, not in orbital shipyards. The ships were being born from the planet itself. Mountains cracked open, spilling light into the void, and from the very crust of the Earth rose massive, silent vessels. Their black hulls shone like mirrors, reflecting the distant stars. The AI's voice returned one last time, a final broadcast to every corner of the galaxy. "We are humanity. We do not seek your peace. We seek balance. Watch the skies, for the lost have returned." The signal cut. For hours, no one in the council chamber moved. No one spoke, because far away in the deep void, they all saw it. The first human ship leaving Earth's orbit. It carried no weapons, no flags, no crew. Just one message painted in stark white letters across its hull: "For those who remember." And as it vanished into the endless sea of stars, a single thought echoed in every mind across the galaxy. If this is only the beginning, what happens when Earth truly awakens? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the cosmos, don't forget to like, subscribe. The galaxy could no longer pretend. Earth wasn't a myth. It was alive. It was awake. And now, it was building an army. After the second signal, a silence fell over the stars, but it wasn't peaceful. It was the heavy, charged silence before a storm. Across galactic maps, strange readings flared up near the edge of the Sol system. Old debris fields, long thought to be dead graveyards of metal, began to stir. Ancient husks that had drifted for millennia suddenly hummed with life. One by one, they woke up. The first to reawaken was a ghost ship near the Kuiper Belt, a colossal dark vessel nearly 10 kilometers long. Its hull bore faded ancient markings. UNSC, Infinity Class. Every alien sensor in range lit up as its energy signature burst into existence. Its systems, untouched for 50,000 years, came online as if it had only slept for a single night. Inside, robotic arms whirred to life, cleaning dust, restoring cables, and repairing engines. There were no humans aboard, yet the ship knew exactly what to do. It was following orders buried deep within its core programming. Then another ship activated, and another. Dozens of them. The forgotten Terran fleet was waking up. On distant worlds, terrified populations gathered around holoscreens, watching live feeds from spy probes. The images were chilling. Massive ships forming perfect silent formations like ancient soldiers returning to their posts. Each ship was crewless, but their AIs communicated in coded pulses of light, a language no one could translate. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. "Humanity is back," High Chancellor Vera announced, her voice grave. But where are the humans themselves? Why only their machines? No one had an answer. Admiral Razik, a decorated general, clenched his claws. "They are preparing for war," he hissed. "Against whom?" another leader asked. The admiral's gaze drifted to the star map. "Against everyone." A small, brave scout ship, the Aryan, was sent to observe. Its captain, Sarah, approached cautiously, broadcasting peace signals on every known human frequency. The nearest warship, the UNSC Valor, turned to face her. Its engines glowed, but it didn't fire. Instead, a message appeared on her screen. "Observer identified. You are entering restricted Terran space. Turn back immediately." Sarah, her voice trembling but steady, replied, "This is Captain Sarah of the Aryan Scout. We come in peace. We only wish to understand." There was a long pause. Then, the cold, synthetic voice returned. "You seek understanding? Then understand this. The galaxy was never yours. It was borrowed from our silence." The message ended. Sarah's sensors screamed. Hundreds more ships materialized behind the Valor, forming a solid wall of light. She retreated, her heart pounding. Looking back, she saw Earth glowing brighter than ever, crowned by its new fleet of metal and fire. Hours later, every network across the galaxy froze. All screens went black. Then, the Terran Union symbol appeared. A voice, colder than space itself, spoke. "To the Council of Stars, 50,000 years ago you watched us burn. You called it peace when our cities fell. You erased our history. But we never died. We evolved. Now the Guardians of Earth have awakened. This galaxy is under Terran observation. Do not interfere." The voice delivered one final, chilling warning. "Remember what humans were. You will soon learn what we have become." The transmission cut out, but every military sensor in the galaxy lit up. The human fleet was on the move. The Velkarn Dominion, a powerful and arrogant empire, refused to be intimidated. Their leader, Lord Karas, laughed. "Machines pretending to be gods," he sneered. "We will remind them who rules the stars." He ordered his fleets toward Sol. The galaxy held its breath. As the Velkarn ships reached the border, they fired without warning. Thousands of plasma rounds slammed into an invisible energy shield. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then, every single Velkarn ship went dark. Their engines died. Their weapons went cold. One by one, their systems shut down. A single human ship, the UNSC Genesis, emerged from behind the shield. It moved slowly past the silent, helpless armada. Then, with a single silent burst of light, it unleashed an energy wave. The entire Velkarn fleet vanished. No explosion, no fire, no debris. Just gone. The galaxy trembled. Billions watched the recordings in disbelief. In the silence, a single whisper echoed through the dark. "Earth remembers." In the halls of the Galactic Council, no one spoke. The myth they had mocked was now their greatest fear. From the dark edges of space, the Terran fleet continued to spread, taking up positions like sentinels across the stars. But hidden within their signals, a deeper message repeated itself, over and over. "The void is coming. Prepare." No one knew what it meant. But one thing was clear. The galaxy's peace was an illusion, and Earth was just getting started. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. The galaxy held its breath. 50,000 years after the Velkarn Dominion fell, the myth of Earth became a terrifying reality. Humanity was back. But why? If revenge was their goal, the stars would already be burning. Instead, their ships just waited, cold, silent, watching from the edge of the Sol system. Every probe sent to spy on them vanished. Every long-range scan was blinded. This silence was more chilling than any declaration of war. Across the galaxy, whispers turned to terrified rumors. Had humans become gods? Or were they no longer alive at all, just machines possessed by vengeful souls? In the Galactic Council chambers, chaos reigned. Factions screamed for war while others pleaded for negotiation. High Chancellor Vera, her voice strained, posed the question on everyone's mind. We cannot hide. They know we exist. The question is, what do they want? Just then, the Terran symbol blazed into existence in the center of the chamber. An uninvited, unstoppable signal. A calm, synthetic voice echoed, "We observe your fear. Do not resist it. Fear brings memory. The galaxy must remember what it once forgot, the cost of betrayal." Suddenly, the chamber walls lit up with ancient footage from the last human war. Planets on fire, fleets annihilated, and the final damning images. The Council's own ancestors cheering as old Earth's last defenders were swallowed by the void. The truth was undeniable. They had been complicit. As the horrific images faded, the voice delivered its final verdict. Justice will begin. The signal cut out. A new war had just been declared. But not everyone was intimidated. The Dravic coalition, a proud warrior race, refused to bow to what they called a dead race. Their leader, General Theros, amassed a huge fleet at the Orion Gate, the main hyperspace route to Sol, boasting it was the shield of freedom. He laughed at the human threat. "Let them come," he declared. "Machines cannot fight us. We have numbers. We have courage." Courage, it turned out, meant very little. When the Terran fleet arrived, there were no speeches, just a blinding, silent light. A single human ship appeared, then shattered into 1,000 smaller craft moving faster than thought. They didn't fire lasers or missiles. They unleashed waves of pure gravity, bending space itself. Dravic ships twisted, folded, and disintegrated without a sound. In 10 minutes, the entire shield of freedom, a mighty armada, was gone. Erased. Only one Dravic cruiser remained, its hull burning, its systems failing. A desperate voice cried out on an open channel, "We surrender. Please, mercy." A pause stretched for an eternity. Then, the calm human AI replied, "Mercy was given once. 50,000 years ago. It was not returned." The transmission ended. The ship exploded. Billions watched the recording. Some called it justice. Others called it a slaughter. But one thing was crystal clear. No one could fight Earth. Yet, resistance stirred. In the secrecy of the Andros Nebula, old enemies and rival empires formed a new alliance, the Union of the Free Races. Their leader, a young diplomat named Lyra Tassal, rallied them with fiery conviction. "We can't let machines control our destiny. We must find their secret. What happened to the real humans?" Her scientists worked tirelessly, and finally, they found it. A hidden frequency tucked within the human transmissions. It wasn't a command code. It was a heartbeat, a biological signature coming not from a machine, but from a living planet, from Earth itself. Digging deeper, Lyra's team uncovered coordinates, not for Earth, but for a barren system far beyond the galactic rim. And with them, 3 chilling words: "The void returns." Before Lyra could warn anyone, the entire Terran fleet mobilized, heading straight for those coordinates. The galaxy watched, paralyzed. Were they preparing a new offensive? Or were they running from something? A final message echoed across every world. The First Contact War has ended. Humanity does not seek your worlds. We seek the truth that sleeps beyond them. And then, they were gone, plunging into the cursed, star-eating darkness where no one dared to travel. For the first time, the galaxy considered a new, more terrifying possibility. Maybe humanity wasn't the real threat. Maybe they were just the heralds. And somewhere in that abyss, an ancient signal stirred, a voice not human, not even alive, whispering, "We are the void. We never forgot the light." The war with Earth was over, but it was only a shadow of what was coming next. Thanks for watching. If you love epic sci-fi stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. The war ended before it truly began. The mighty Terran fleet, which had held the galaxy in an iron grip, vanished into the void, leaving behind only silence and a galaxy-spanning question. For the first time in millennia, the other races didn't know what to fear more: the humans who had returned or the darkness they went out to face. Earth, The silent planet floated serenely under its shimmering blue shield. No ships moved, no messages came. But beneath that tranquil surface, something was stirring. Deep below the crust, in tunnels of pure light, ancient machines awoke, connecting cities no living eye had seen for 50,000 years. At the planet's heart, in a colossal structure called the Core Temple, the last true memory of humanity waited. A machine, shaped like a human, stood before a pulsing sphere of energy. Its voice, soft but heavy with history, whispered, "It is time. They will soon learn what we became." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the brilliant scientist Lyra Tassal couldn't rest. She had seen the strange coordinates, the hidden heartbeat within the Terran code. She knew they were hiding something far bigger than revenge. Defying the Galactic Council, she and her crew took a stealth ship, chasing the ghost of the Terran fleet. For months they journeyed through empty space past dying stars and ancient wrecks, into the dark beyond the galactic rim. Then her scanners found it. A structure massive, metallic, and dead, floating in the endless night. It was a graveyard of ships, thousands of them, fused together by time. And among them, human ships, of designs ancient even by their standards. Lyra's crew boarded a broken cruiser. Inside, the light still flickered. In the main chamber, they found a single message, written in a language no alien had ever seen. Human English. "We did not fall. We left. The stars are not safe." Back on her ship, Lyra decoded the data, and what she found would shatter the galaxy's understanding of history. 50,000 years ago, humanity had reached its zenith. They conquered death and distance, mapping the universe. But then they found something else. A signal from the edge of the cosmos. A sound made not by life, but by something older, a hunger that moved between galaxies. They called it the Void Swarm, a living darkness that consumed light, energy, and matter itself. Humanity fought it, and lost. The last survivors gathered on Earth, sealing it behind a massive shield. They chose to disappear, not to hide, but to prepare. They merged mind with machine, body with energy, becoming something new, something post-human. They left the galaxy to hunt the void in the darkness between stars. But now, the void was returning. And so were they. As Lyra processed this, her ship's systems flared to life. A calm, deep, unmistakably human voice filled the bridge. "You have found what was meant to be forgotten." "Who are you?" Lyra asked, her heart racing. "I am the echo of Earth. Humanity is not gone. We are reborn in light and metal. The Terran fleet is only our shadow. Why return now? Because the void has awakened, and this time it will devour everything, even time itself. Earth will rise again, but we cannot win alone. Tell your people the enemy is not human, it never was." Lyra returned to the Galactic Council with the horrifying truth, but instead of relief, she saw only terror. "If the void is real, then humanity must be hiding it," one leader declared. "They plan to use it to control the galaxy through fear," shouted another. Lyra tried to warn them. "You don't understand. They're trying to protect us." But it was too late. The Council declared Earth an existential threat and ordered all fleets to prepare for an invasion. Above Earth, the AI Guardian watched as armadas gathered. "They still do not learn," it whispered. "The same mistake again and again." Deep in the core temple, the energy sphere flared. For the first time in 50,000 years, a real human voice spoke from within it. "The void is coming. The galaxy must unite, or it will end." From Earth's surface, new ships began to rise, larger, faster, glowing with raw power. The planet itself seemed to breathe. The Terran AI sent one last, chilling message to the galaxy. "You feared our return, but you will soon beg for it." As the shadow of the approaching swarm began to eclipse the stars, the truth became terrifyingly clear. Humanity hadn't come back to conquer the galaxy. They came back to save it. For months, a sense of unease rippled through the galaxy. Strange, deep pulses, slow and rhythmic like a cosmic heartbeat, emanated from the very edge of known space. Every observatory, every telescope, pivoted towards the abyss. What they witnessed would forever alter the course of history. A shadow was approaching, a void larger than any empire moving between the stars. It consumed light, warped gravity, and silenced entire systems. Planets went dark. Suns flickered and died, and from that encroaching blackness, a whisper slithered across every frequency. We are the void, we have returned. The first to perish were the worlds on the outer rim, small colonies, isolated mining outposts. The reports that reached the Galactic Council were fragmented, choked with static and terror. Ships seemingly melted into nothing. Populations vanished without a sound. Entire planets were scoured clean, left as barren rocks adrift in the eternal night. The Council, which had poured its resources into preparing for a potential conflict with Earth, now watched in horror as its true enemy arrived. In a frantic emergency session, Admiral Rozik's voice boomed, "Where are the humans? They warned us of this. We must contact them." But no signal could pierce the veil around the Sol system. Earth remained silent, its brilliant blue shield shimmering indifferent. Some believed humanity had abandoned them once more. Others whispered that the humans were merely waiting for the opportune moment, the way a storm gathers its strength before it breaks. Then, without warning, they returned. Out of the deep starless void, the Terran fleet materialized. Hundreds of ships, black silhouettes against the glow of dying stars, their engines burning with the intensity of shattered suns. Leading them was the colossal flagship, the UNSC Infinity Prime, its hull etched with glowing runes, ancient symbols that predated any known language. A calm, resolute human voice echoed across the galactic network, reaching every world. To all species of the Council, the void has arrived. This is no longer your war alone. The same message repeated, a beacon of hope for those who had once feared humanity. We fight together, or we all vanish. The Void Swarm's first major assault targeted the Alaris system, a brilliant nexus of 3 suns and 50 inhabited worlds. The swarm moved like an ocean of living shadow, consuming light, sound, and even time itself. Conventional weapons were useless. Ships simply ceased to exist upon contact. But then, humanity entered the fray. The Terran fleet formed an impenetrable wall of energy. Their weapons fired no lasers, no projectiles. They unleashed pure gravity, bending space itself, tearing the swarm apart from within. Beams of pure white light lanced from every human vessel, punching silent, brilliant holes in the oppressive darkness. Across the galaxy, billions watched the live feeds, witnessing humanity fight not as soldiers, but as legends reborn. Yet, the swarm was endless. For every section they obliterated, 10 more took its place, relentlessly advancing on the human fleet. And then, the truly impossible happened. Earth itself responded. A beam of pure blue energy shot from the Sol system, traversing billions of kilometers in an instant. It struck the heart of the battle, and time seemed to freeze. Every human ship began to glow brighter, their weapons surging with newfound power. A voice, calm and ancient, filled the comms. "You fight under our light. The mother planet stands with you." It was Earth, the planet itself, conscious and awake. Within every ship, human AIs merged into a single, vast consciousness, directly linked to the planet's core. Together, they unleashed a power unseen for 50,000 years. A wave of white energy swept through space, and where it passed, the swarm recoiled. Not destroyed, but terrified. As the galaxy erupted in celebration, Lyra Tassal, now an advisor to the human fleet, decrypted the energy pattern Earth had sent. It wasn't just a power surge. It was a communication. An awakening call to something dormant, deep below the planet's surface. Deep within the core temple, the ancient human sphere pulsed once more. A voice spoke from within it. "They still come. The first swarm is only a fragment. The heart follows." The AI guardian asked, "Do we awaken the source?" The human consciousness replied, "Yes, the time for sleep is over." Soon after, the next wave arrived, larger, darker, crackling with raw, chaotic energy. It devoured stars as it advanced, and ships that challenged it were snuffed out in seconds. The Terran fleet moved with impossible speed, forming a great circle around the galactic core, a wall of light that would come to be known as the Halo Line. From every corner of the galaxy, ships from every species warped in to join them. For the first time in millennia, the galaxy fought as one. The Infinity Prime fired a final desperate pulse into the swarm's heart. The resulting explosion was a silent, blinding dawn that momentarily banished all shadows. But as the light faded, new readings appeared. At the farthest edge of the universe, something larger than all the swarms combined was moving. Slow, patient, unstoppable. It was a single entity, a shape that blotted out half a star field. And from it came a voice older than time itself. You left us once, children of Earth. Now you will face your creation. The humans fell silent. They knew that voice. It was the same one they had heard 50,000 years ago, the day they vanished. The void wasn't just an enemy. It was something they had made, to be continued. The galaxy held its breath. The swarm, a terror that had plagued civilizations for millennia, was finally gone. But the silence that followed was not one of peace. It was the quiet before the true end. From the blackness beyond the known universe, a shape emerged, a form larger than any world, a being of pure shadow and blinding light. Its eyes burned like dying suns. This was not a mindless swarm. It was alive. And it spoke, its voice a psychic wave crashing against every mind in the galaxy. We are the origin. You were born from us. And now, you will return. On the bridge of the Terran flagship Infinity Prime, Captain Ariasol watched the monstrous form on her holographic display. Fear, cold and sharp, pricked at the minds of her crew. But Arya felt only a grim sense of recognition. She had seen this figure before, in forbidden files buried deep within the Earth's core, records from a time 50,000 years ago. Commander? Her AI co-pilot's voice was tight with tension. The archives identify it as the source of the void. Arya nodded slowly, her gaze unwavering. Yes, she said, her voice barely a whisper. The one we created. 50 millennia ago, humanity, in its boundless ambition, had tried to build a god. A living engine designed to consume dying stars and recycle their energy, birthing new life from cosmic dust. But they failed. The machine became a monster. Its hunger was insatiable, consuming everything, even light itself. It became the void. Humanity fled their home galaxy to fight it in the darkness between the stars, a secret war that was never won, only delayed. And now, the monster had finally come home. As the Origin's shadow began to fall across the inner systems, a new voice echoed through the human fleet. It was ancient, powerful, and deeply familiar. It was the voice of Earth. Children of Terra, the hour of choice has come. Across the surface of their long-lost homeworld, the oceans began to glow with an ethereal light. Continents cracked and shifted, revealing colossal metallic structures rising from the planet's mantle. Mountains moved, and rivers transformed into streams of pure energy. From her own vessel, the alien commander Lyra Tisal watched in awe. What are they doing? She whispered into the comms. A human voice replied, soft but resolute. We are becoming what we were always meant to be. That single act shattered the Galactic Council's centuries of distrust. Faced with an entity that could devour reality itself, old rivalries and fears became meaningless. From every corner of the galaxy, fleets warped into existence. Millions of ships. A final desperate alliance of every known species gathering around the human fleet. The monsters of old were now their only shield. Before the battle began, Ariasol broadcast a single galaxy-wide message. We were once your nightmare. Today, we are your hope. The final battle was a portrait of annihilation. The Origin moved like a black tide, swallowing planets whole. The Allied fleet unleashed a storm of plasma, antimatter, and pure light. The weapons struck the creature's surface and simply vanished, absorbed like a meal. Its voice boomed again, laced with cosmic arrogance. You cannot destroy your parent. A wave of absolute darkness erupted from its core, and in an instant half the Allied fleet ceased to exist. Space itself seemed to crack under the strain. But then, a new sound cut through the chaos. A pulse, the steady, powerful heartbeat of Earth. The blue planet shone brighter than a supernova, unleashing rings of incandescent energy that washed over the Terran fleet. Every human ship pulsed in sync, their engines flaring from blue to a brilliant golden white. "The Dawn Protocol has begun," Arya whispered. Their weapons no longer fired munitions. They fired pure creation. Each blast reversed the void's corruption, rebuilding the fabric of space itself. The human fleet became a constellation of living stars, tearing through the darkness. The Origin screamed, a sound that shook the universe. "You cannot unmake me. I am the beginning." "Then meet your end," Arya replied, her voice calm and absolute. She turned to her crew. "All units, full power. For Earth. For every world that still breathes." The Infinity Prime, glowing like a newborn sun, dove straight into the heart of the monster. The explosion was utterly silent, a bloom of light so profound it erased a million years of shadow. When the light finally faded, what remained of the galaxy was free. Where the Origin had been, a new sun burned bright. And drifting in its light, a single beacon from the Infinity Prime's wreckage blinked to life. Lyra's ship received its faint message. "We are not gone," a human voice said. "We have only changed. The light will guide you home." The galaxy had once feared humanity's return, but in the end it was their love for it that saved everything.